Hello and welcome to another episode of DCU Daily. Here we are going to obviously talk about, you know, the thing that everyone wants to talk about, the season finale of Kite-Man. We are going to get into that, but first, we did want to talk a little bit about Penguin. It is going to be premiering in a week, so we got to, pump it up a little bit, got to showcase, some early reviews. We've got the Rotten Tomatoes score, even though I don't personally care about Rotten Tomatoes, a lot of other people do. So we are going to be talking about that. But then we will eventually get into Kite-Man, what it means for the end of the season, what happened in the season finale. Is it going to get a season 2? Is it going to get people pumped up for Harley Quinn season 5? So we're going to talk about it. Not a ton today, but enough. And here to join me today, we have Bridget. Bridget, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, John. Yeah, it's I can feel the fall weather is kind of hitting. Oh my gosh, there was an earthquake this morning at like 7:30. Yeah, but I think it's definitely weather related.
Yeah, don't envy the don't envy the earthquakes. I went through one and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It was like a small tremor, but I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. So,
Yeah.
first things first, obviously, 1 week away. We are it is Thursday the 12th, which means it's Friday the 13th tomorrow, guys. Be careful tomorrow.
Oh my gosh,
And then next week we are getting, I almost said Kite Man. We're getting Penguin. We are getting finally getting the second installment of the Batman epic crime saga. Here we have a little bit of a teaser on Instagram, just 1 week showcasing the characters of the Penguin. And I always forget this actor's name. I can never ever remember it. It's Rezi something. He was on the Runaways. I always forget what character he's playing because it's an original character. Again, apologies to uh this fellow. What Renzi Feliz. He's playing Victor Aguilar. Um, but yes, so awesome good actor. I saw a little bit of the Runaways. I never watched the full show, but I saw some clips in there. He was good. So I am excited for this, what he has in store for us. Obviously we know Colin Farrell. Obviously we know Colin Farrell. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for Kristen Milioti. But with Penguin only being 1 week away, what are your thoughts on, having another big, huge live action DC project? Feels like forever since we got one. But what are your thoughts on it? And are you excited for it? Or are you just like, nah, not for me? It's not Kite Man, so why should I care?
No, I am excited, and I'm glad it's now. I feel like it's kind of something now that Kite Man has ended to kind of like maybe put my focus onto. It's very different. Obviously, it's not animated and it's not comedic, but it still looks really good. I'm not gonna lie. Just seeing the trailer last week, um, it's like a total. And I know it's like based off the penguin that he did in the movie, but I'm just really excited to see more of that. Like him in the prosthetics is such a huge character transformation, and I'm really
Oh yeah.
excited to kind of see what's in the penguin's head and more of his perspective and his life story, and also like that kind of a mobster telling as well. But I'm just excited to kind of see it in this kind of world. And it looks promising. I mean, I definitely want to check out the
Oh
first
yeah.
couple episodes at least, see how I feel. But it's really exciting, and I think it'll be a good way to get over my post Kite Man blues. Wow, with
Yeah.
the new
And
cast.
I like how it did like align up perfectly. We have like Kite Man, and then immediately the next week, even though it's something so very different, we are, we're getting to but that's what like is kind of fun about it. We're getting
Yeah,
something, as funny and as cute as Kite Man, even though it's technically an R-rated show. But and then we
yeah,
get something like as dark as this. We also got, this public safety announcements flood watch. If you remember the end of the Batman, we Riddler
yeah,
flooded Gotham, and now we kind of have like a no man's land kind of vibe from
yeah.
this. So it's definitely, it gives us, yeah, I like this. Beware of killer crocs in those waters. We see you,
Oh my
Yargrove underscore
gosh.
Inc.
Yes.
That would be a fun little tidbit if we did like, I heard about these killer crocodiles. That would be a cute tongue-in-cheek kind of wink to the audience. That I think that would be kind
Yeah.
of fun.
I
But yeah,
really like
what is it?
I was gonna say, like, this marketing strategy too to, like
Oh yeah,
it's
it's
so cool
great.
'cause it brings us into the world, and it's like,
Oh yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
that seems
as I said, I'm not the biggest the Batman fan, but this like honestly, maybe the Penguin might even be better. Like straight up, I might just be like
I mean,
so
honestly,
stoked
maybe.
for it.
I'm not I could see that happening, actually. I was like, "This almost looks like it could be it's just as strong, if it's done the right way."
Oh yeah, I think I just I would just love, just to obviously we don't need like too much of like references, but I really hope like we go proper in on the world building.
Mhm.
But it seems like that's what they're going for here. And I think yeah, also Dan giving us a yeah, you know,
Yes,
I am rocking my also I was
represent
going to reference this later, but I also do have my mug.
yes.
So don't you worry, guys. I'm decked out. I still have another shirt coming in, but don't worry, guys. I'm getting decked out. I'm getting stoked for Superman. But we're not here to talk about Superman. We're here to talk about the inferior Batman. Yeah, I see you, Dan. I know you're
You
watching, so I can
wow.
say that right
Okay.
now. So you know what? Anyway, so um so I'm excited for the world building, but the thing that gets me even more excited is the fact that it's been getting really good reviews too. I'm
Yeah,
stoked. Like here it says the Penguin stands on its own 2 feet without the need of the Batman, which is what a lot of people are scared about, especially when Matt Reeves ripped off that bandage and was like, "Hey, we're not gonna have Rob in the show at all." And even though me and Dan were kind of miffed about it, this does stand on its own 2 feet. I didn't think it wouldn't, but I still don't believe like, come on, guys, give us a little bit of mystery, you know? But Colin
yeah,
Farrell is also a Callbot, and Kristen Milotti is the tour de force of Sophia Falcone that, that lines up. The HBO limited series is an enthralling addition to Matt Reeves' Batman epic crime saga. So yeah, they give it a 4 out of 5. So does that get you even more stoked? I don't know. I know it's getting me more stoked, but I
yeah,
think it's getting me like, goddamn, this is exciting. So
yes.
now I'm
And I
getting more
know
excited. What I want to know your thoughts because
it's
like
just
you
so
haven't really talked
building so
about the Penguin.
contagious. I know. And like the more we talk about it, the more I just wish I could just watch it right now, actually.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can wait till
exactly.
next week, honestly. Yeah, it's exciting. No, and I mean, as you said, like reviews, especially like Rotten Tomato reviews and stuff can be sometimes a hit or miss, but it is
Hmm.
promising. Like I do think when you do see good reviews like this, it's like, well, they've already seen it. It just because it's it's like it's a little signal as what's to come. And if it was like
Right,
2 stars, then I'm going to it feeling like I shouldn't expect too much. But
right.
when it's got 45 stars, I mean that's pretty. We all know that's pretty good. So,
Oh yeah,
yes, it seems like it's just getting all the green lights. So I do
yeah.
feel like the premiere episode I predict is going to have a lot of viewers.
I
Yeah,
think so too. I know a lot of people are upset that Robert Pattinson is not going to be in it. Because I know a lot of people did want to see Batman, even if it would have like
might be
taken down the Penguin a little bit as even though he's the forefront here, they're like, they gotta, you know, give us a little bit of Batman. And
right
like
because
even if he shows up for 2 seconds, or even Bruce Wayne shows up for 2 seconds, again, it's still Batman's world, but I get why they don't want to do it. They're like, the thing is, Batman's history with his characters is just too rich that it's like, okay, we can let Batman be hands off and
right,
let these characters take the I mean, people, as people have said, Variety gave us one. Colin Farrell's The Penguin is a mesmerizing crime drama that moves beyond Batman, not Batman Beyond, but beyond Batman. TV review, it seems like, they're I don't want to show too much because it might show some spoilers. So I'm
Mhm.
just gonna, go through. But yeah, it seems like, but withstanding brutality forces transformation. After all, devils aren't born; they're created. Definitely an interesting way to put it. So,
Mhm.
Variety seems like they're giving good reviews. It's also one of 2024's best shows from NPR. Yeah, yeah, they're like, oh, come on. And that's, I think, another thing. Oh, it's another Batman show. But the thing is, technically, it doesn't have Batman now. And it's its own thing. And it's giving us something that's possibly different. And,
And it's also, Colin Farrell's a legendary actor. I feel like that's another big
yeah,
thing. Him lining this, it's going to draw a lot of trust, I think, in this production.
hmm,
Whereas some other things, it can be like, well, who's that? Why should I care? Whereas
right.
I feel like it's smart having him in this, and then it's
Oh, yeah.
just too. It's like in this, like to me, he's just so unrecognizable that
Right.
also
And
it's like
look
it
at that
just is
face.
exciting for me to watch is see something like an actor who's like completely transforms into a whole new character. It's just it kind of it's like a really great testament to the acting and to what they can bring, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah,
give the mono dynamic between the pair yields Milioti and Farrell's best work, but the interplay viewers will crave peaks far too early. So yeah, so it's not like amazing, but it's like um yeah,
I
or
do.
even a Perry Mason amid too many entries that never. So yeah, they even people that are like, oh, I don't know about it. It's people are
I
getting
I
stoked for
think that
this.
I think it's definitely set apart from the rest. That's just what I get. It just seems like it's
Hmm.
really making an entrance into the big, already very crowded television space, but I do feel like it's kind of making its own mark. And that's for
Yeah,
me, who doesn't as someone who doesn't even have a ton of, like, DC fandom knowledge itself,
right.
I am excited
But
for
I think
this. So
that's
that
kind of what it's made for.
yeah,
Because the Batman wasn't heavily on like fan knowledge, which isn't a bad thing. It's, it
mhm.
seems very a lot more generalized. And honestly, that might
More
be,
digestible.
it's good for it. Like
Yeah,
this, that's the thing I was worried about when I saw that first trailer. I was like, oh, it's just gonna be another crime drama, which isn't bad. It's just like I feel like a lot of people
e
cornered that subgenre a little bit too early, and
exactly.
now it's just like everything is trying to be Martin Scorsese, I guess. Even though
Yeah,
he doesn't just do crime dramas. I know everyone makes that like, oh, he just does crime dramas. It's like no, he doesn't. But I love Martin Scorsese, and he just doesn't do only crime dramas. But
yes, yes.
I feel like that
It
part I think will bring in people that aren't necessarily Batman fans or
yes,
people that are like too into the idea of like this universe because I feel like you can watch this show without knowing or even watching the Batman because I feel
right,
like this is a show that my dad would like but he hasn't seen the movie. So
right,
I'd be like, "Hey dad, do you think you'd be interested in this?" Hell yeah, it follows a movie. Do you want to watch it? Fuck no.
yeah,
So, people are gonna,
yeah,
eat this up. But then you also have like what I was saying with like for both the movie and the show, you do have a little bit of the fan stuff that like is like that fans will recognize how like
no,
a lot of long Halloween references in the movie and in the show, as well a lot of stuff by the, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale team, Dark Victory as well. So you have that with the fan knowledge, you have all that, but then you also have like it's more general and you're going to bring in all those other people that might not necessarily be interested or don't know anything about it. So
yeah.
I feel like they're hitting a lot of points as well as what you said before with the marketing.
It's like it really is like a great blend, I think, of both concepts. Like a crime drama, but also it sets itself apart because it's more interesting than just a crime drama about blah 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 in whatever city because it's like it's in Gotham and I think most people know Gotham, most people know Batman generally. So I
Hmm.
think it just adds another element that is more exciting, appealing, intriguing than just anywhere because it kind of blends those two, but it's also like more real, a little bit more looks like it's based in kind of a little bit more realism, which I think it's
Yeah.
like kind of what's perfect
Which
right now.
it depends on the person. I know a couple people complained. They're like, "Oh, we're getting another realistic Batman. Didn't we just get this a decade ago? Why are we doing this shit again?" But I think there are still a lot of people that are like, "Okay, it's not like, guys in spandex." I think there is still an audience for that. I
Yeah.
personally, I love both. I love all kinds of Batman. Like I
Yeah.
unironically love Adam West and to an extent Batman and Robin just because how it like nails Silver Age aspects of that
Yeah.
character. I love Batman Forever. The Nolan trilogy is great. Even the Burton movies, even though I don't love them as much as I did, I love that tone. I think he nailed Gotham City and that
Yeah.
comic book idea. So I think Matt Reeves, is here to stay for a while. Got that epic crime saga. So if the DCU fails, which we hope it does not, uh, we do have something to fall back on. We have Batman's epic crime saga. Batman
True.
will swoop in and be like, "All right, I'll take it from here," which we don't hope for, but sometimes you got to have a plan B. So
You know,
that's what I think they might
I think,
do in that case. But
yeah,
I also Manola Rivera, I kind of agree. I think this might rejuvenate Colin Farrell's career because
definitely.
honestly, I don't even remember the last thing that dude was in. Like Seven Psychopaths. Was that like the last thing he did? I don't even know. But yeah, I think the Penguin has a lot going for it. Again, it's premiering next week. If you have HBO, it's on at 9. I think Max might premiere earlier than that,
Mhm.
but it's been getting tons of great reviews. We have stuff from Variety, we have stuff from NPR, and we have stuff from Hollywood Reporter all singing its praises. Maybe not like 10 out of 10, but at least 8 to 9 out of 10 that a lot of people are happy about. Even Rotten Tomatoes is joining in the fray. Season 1 now,
Oh, good.
IMDb describes it as a mini series, but this describes it as season 1, so who knows? And we'll get
Mhm.
into that soon enough. But
Right.
it's the next chapter of the Batman saga, this crime journal. Blah, 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 blah. But I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes, as you can see. I mean, come on, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power has 84%, and Emily in Paris has a 62%. This fucking site's bullshit when you have that. Those are the scores for those two shows. But that's beside the point. For the people that care about Rotten Tomatoes, it is sitting
Right.
at a 92. It was earlier at an 89, but now it reached A minus territories rather than B plus territory with a 90, a nice big fat 92 fresh score. Look at that. Look at that beautiful, you know.
Yes. You're right. Even though you don't really approve of the rating, it's still you can't argue with the rating either. It's like
Yeah.
it's got a ton of support either way.
Yeah. So I'm stoked for the show. I hope it's great. But as people were saying, they're not sure if this is like a season 1 or, a season or a mini series. But Colin Farrell did talk about this. He talks the ability of um Penguin season 2, and the thing is, this man's putting on pounds and pounds of makeup to create this look right here.
He's got it.
So who knows if he's not too like not against it, but he's not into. He's like, I love this character, I love doing this, but it's got in on me a little bit. He's like kind of like he's like, by the end of it, I was bitching and moaning to anyone who would listen to me that I fucking wanted it to be finished. I tried to remind them that I had grumpy gratitude. I was grateful and still honored. I grew up watching Burgess Meredith, who played the role in the 60s TV series, and then Danny DeVito was my Penguin. So being a part of the lineage of that storytelling, I really did feel privileged. But by the end of it, um, he's kind of getting just like, I don't blame him though. Like I don't blame,
No,
I know he's like wants to
hard
be so grateful for this, to play this character who's had such a long great history of so many great actors, not just live action but animated as well. Paul Williams, I believe, was the Penguin in the animated series. And yeah, so he's like, obviously we're doing a lot, but he's like, and it's not just the prosthetics, but it's also like kind of being stuck in like this like fucking sadistic mobster you know.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, for people in the UK, it's going to release on September 20th on Sky and Now. So any UK people that are watching, Lenny, if you're watching, maybe not now, maybe a little bit later, you'll be able to watch it the next day on Sky and Now in the UK. So, you know, I kind of get what he's like talking about though, because it's like
Absolutely.
it's a lot. It's a lot to play these characters. I
It
mean, look
is.
at Heath Ledger when he was playing the Joker. Like, I know that there was the urban legend of like, oh, that's what killed him. That's not what killed him. That even his family said he was fine. But even then, getting into that sadistic, psychopathic
It takes a
headspace
lot
is
of,
a lot.
yeah. I mean, just, and I guess, yeah, I mean, as,
I want to know an actor's point of view because you have a
yes,
lot, probably have a lot to say about that.
it actually, it is really, really hard. And I think that's why I always have like so much appreciation to when I see other people like take on this total transformation. You know, it's like, you know, and a lot of actors to resort to like method acting, but I feel like in a
Mhm.
way, in all aspects, a lot of actors still have to, you know, it's something that's always on your mind. This character, the way that they think, their storyline, like you have to make it real. So in a way, it's like that experience that you have on camera, like, oh, it's, you know, it's all like a fake show, but in a way, it's like that actor, it's almost like convincing themselves that they're really having this experience. And so when you're
Right.
really dealing with a lot of heavy, sadistic sort of material, it is all pretend, but it's like you, if I don't believe it as the actor, then no one's gonna believe it watching me. So that's, he has to kind of live in this world as the character, and he really has to deal with that, really kind of think as the character. And it's you know, it's a lot emotionally, mentally, it can be very exhausting and draining. And so I'm sure I totally understand what he means when he's like, you know, I'm so happy for this, but it's like, it's also like really taking a toll on me. I think that's totally fair to say. And it's like you can have feel the same thing at the same time too. Feel like, oh my gosh, so excited to play this role, but also it's like, God, I know it's going to be so much work to do that. Like, God, I really hope I can pull it off. And I think that's like a feeling that a lot of people have. But yeah, it's I understand him even saying like maybe if I take like a year break is what it sounds like he's saying. Like I maybe had a break in
Yeah.
between, then I could come back refreshed, ready to do it. Because it's, you know, for him
Yeah.
to really deliver, it's not like he just walks in and just it's like easy. You know, you really have to,
No.
especially, yeah, especially like when people always ask me too, like, oh, how do actors like cry and stuff? But it's just because you're bringing up a lot of stuff that really emotionally affects you. So
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Hopefully they have like he films all his because I mean Matt Reeves already confirmed that Penguin is going to appear in Batman Part 2. And so hopefully all the Penguin stuff is at the end so he has the most time to fucking recover
Yeah,
from playing this character.
right.
And because we don't want that. But in terms of you mentioned method acting, Manila Rivera has to remember, he won't be sending rats to the crew like
Yeah,
Jared
I
Leto
know.
with
I just
his,
wanna feel, yeah,
method acting.
that's,
It's
yeah.
like I
If
remember
it's like if
what
you're at, yeah, you go ahead.
no, 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 you go. You have more to say.
I was just gonna say, like, if you're, I always think, like, in a way, it's like if your method acting starts to infringe on other people, then that you've taken it too far, I think.
And yeah, I always remember the story when Dustin Hoffman was doing Marathon Man. This is one of my favorite method actor stories. And there I don't know if anybody knows what Marathon Man's about. It's about, I believe, like an old like a Nazi doctor is like torturing this guy, and it's like this whole thing. Um, but yeah, there was like this torture scene, and Dustin Hoffman said to, Sir Laurence Olivier, one of the greatest actors who's ever lived, was
Totally.
talking to him. He's like, yeah, to prepare for the role, I didn't get any sleep last night to make sure I was tired and like fucked up. And then Sir Laurence Olivier says to him, he's like, my dear boy, why don't you just act? And it was like this, like totally fucking
Yeah,
just brilliant. It's like I understand what method actors. It's just like I feel like it's a lot. It's kind of pointless a lot of the time because I think
yeah,
Robert Pattinson, our Batman, said he's like it's not as impressive to me when you are one character for the entire time. I find it more impressive that you can
Totally.
switch between character and yourself on and off easily, because that's a
Yeah.
harder thing to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just never understood method acting. I don't get
Yeah.
it. I will
I
never
mean,
understand it, but I'm not an actor. Maybe you have more
yeah.
insight on that because
I
I
I
don't.
don't I don't do that. I think what really is always like a blend of things. It's like you kind of utilize different methods, what works for you. For some people, it's maybe recalling a memory. For some people, I think if they do struggle to get there, then they employ these other methods like that, where it's like, well, if I just live and like I'm this character, that'll help. But it is, you're right. It is kind of like well, I mean, yeah, I mean, they told me that in school too. Like that's really not acting. Method acting is not really acting. It's just being that thing because you're unable to get there. So there's a lot of differing viewpoints on it. I, I, I I don't know. Sometimes I'm always the thought of like, well, whatever works for you. But it's, yeah, it's just one way to kind of to try to achieve it. But
Yeah.
you know what?
And so Josh
All
was
of
saying just a quick thing. He sent,
yeah.
Jared Leto sending
Oh
used
yeah, that was
condoms and anal beads to fucking Margot Robbie. It's like that. First of all, the Joker wouldn't do that, by the way. So you don't fucking get the
yeah,
character, number one. And number two,
yeah,
you're just being an asshole. That's not method
right,
acting. You're just being a dick.
yeah,
So, but
yeah,
that's, he's a fucking cult leader. He's an asshole.
yeah.
Whatever. It's
I
like,
mean that
that's
whole
not
thing was
surprising.
yeah, that was like it's just like totally using it as an excuse or whatever. That was yeah. And I know now people think when they think method acting, they think of that, and it's just like okay, it's just a crazy way to go about it. But
Yeah.
the thing about the prosthetics, you know what it kind of makes me think of? I remember was I think Jim Carrey talked something similar about like when he did the Grinch, like just how awful it was for him being in all
Yeah.
of the
He
costuming and
had,
makeup,
yeah.
which I remember like learning about that years later. But like as a kid, that is my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I love that movie, and at the same time, I'm like, wow, I feel so bad that he had to go through all of that. But at the same time, like, kudos to him because the result is amazing, and I will forever love that movie so
Yeah. I
much.
mean, when you have to bring in like a, what was it, like a CSI agent, or FBI agent, so that he can learn to withstand torture from
Yeah,
wearing the suit. Like he had to start smoking on set. He
I
had to like
know
start hitting himself in the knee so he could withstand the torture of being in
the
that suit.
pain.
And it's
I
like,
know, God, it's
bro,
like,
like I don't think that's fucking worth it. But that's just me. A lot of
yeah,
people, have been kind of talking about the comments are kind of lit up right now on uh people are talking about a grounded Superman movie, Caleb. That's an interesting take. I don't know if that I can't really bring that into the conversation, unfortunately, but you know, I wouldn't mind seeing a golden age Superman, but like I feel like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like after Zack Snyder, he's just kind of permanently ruined that for a lot of people. So even if people that would want to see that, wouldn't want to now. But yeah, Daniel hard agree. Likely the greatest
yeah,
of the method actors,
that is
probably.
like how you do it right because
Yeah,
it's like I feel like a lot of people can say they're going method, but then they like kind of do their thing that's not really like it's just an
no.
excuse sometimes for people.
I feel like yeah, it is a bit of an excuse to just kind of be an asshole, but that's for the lesser, I feel,
Yeah, but when you
people.
do it right, it can give great results.
Exactly. Yeah, Josh, I knew when Jared Leto Joker said honka honka, I knew it was gonna suck. And it's like, yeah, yeah, thank God for Joaquin Phoenix. But in
Uh,
terms of villains, great segue on my part. Speaking of villains, let's talk about Kite-Man. That's what we really
hell
want to see,
yeah,
guys. We have the season finale of, the greatest television series of all time.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I think that this was a great, great season finale. Hopefully not
It was.
series finale, but we'll talk about
I
that
know.
soon enough. I think season finale was great. It had a lot of great moments. We see Keith David as Darkseid, who's hunting for the anti-life equation, which, as we all know, or the people that actually watched you're the special people. All these other people that didn't watch, fuck
You're
them.
the real ones,
You're
okay?
yeah, you guys are the real ones. But um
We appreciate you.
but yeah, so we have Darkseid looking for the anti-life equation, which, as we know, is with Kite-Man and Golden Glider, and they're trying ways to get rid of it. It can't be nuked, and it's turning chickens into kaijus. So they're like, "All right, we got to get rid of this goddamn thing." But how did they do it? They were like kind of discussing it, and then they went, or like, what if they went the Exorcist way, with
Yeah.
like Kite-Man killing himself while the anti-life equation was inside him, because he was the only one that never really wanted it in the first place. We also
Mhm.
get some stuff with Malice, with Goldilocks. So, what were your thoughts on the season finale?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty great.
Me
Did it
too.
reach all of your expectations and then some, or what did it
I think
disappoint?
even more. No, I was like, before we got on this call, I didn't want to talk too much about it so we could save it for this, but I was like, oh my God, I loved the finale. I think it was really good. And I was worried, because it was like, it's one more episode. I hope they can like really tie things off in the right way. But I feel like they just like perfectly executed a lot of it. Like all of the things, even with like Goldilocks, and then bringing that whole thing and then still that relationship with Darkseid and Malice, and then between Kite-Man and Golden Glider, and just all the stuff going on. I feel like by the end of it, I felt pretty satisfied, and like I mean, it kind of alluded to a possible season 2. So if
Yes,
there is,
most
I
definitely.
feel like I feel like this had the good amount of closure that I feel like, okay, I can wait. But no, I think it was really good, and I also just like some little things that I just feel like they set it up so well. I guess they planned ahead, but like not the
Yeah,
last episode, but the episode before is when at the end is when Goldilocks goes to the bathroom, and I
yeah,
just remember that's when Bane gave her that newspaper to go number 2, and then in this one is when that just like I just thought like how random that was that newspaper was then what um her mom saw, and I just thought like, wow, what a cool payoff. Like something from 2 episodes, like a
yeah.
small thing 2 episodes ago actually was really important. And I don't know, I think it's just clever, it's smart, and
I
yeah,
also loved how, again, one of the few times a poop joke actually works is when Bane is trying to like go number 2 so he can go back in time to help Goldilocks.
yes.
But no, it's just like he's like, no matter what I do, I can't go number 2. I am not. Why can't I? It's just like, there you go, guys. You got my Bane voice. I hope you're happy. But
We're
yeah,
pretty close. Yeah, it was really
yeah.
good.
Well, Gotham's reckoning anyway.
Oh my
But
gosh.
yeah, I think this was just so much fun. I also like the stuff with Malice. It was small, but it was nice. And then Keith David as Darkseid was, he's always fantastic. Like he's
Totally.
always just
Great voice.
phenomenal.
Great voice.
And then the stuff with like Brandon at Pettigan's was funny. And then you had
Also,
like Rebecca Chen becoming one of the choir or whatever.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
um Goldilocks being fun. I also like how Goldilocks just figured it out. Just like, I'm gonna pee and then I'm gonna go back to the future. And it was like,
Like
and then
so
Bane was like
easy.
so happy. Yeah.
Yes. And like he's still
Um,
good. I was like,
yeah,
at
and
first I was like, wait, can he just flush the toilet? Or I guess he have to like, I don't know. I also
yeah, it was great.
I love to like the little jokes about like the hot pockets and lean cuisine. I just thought that was like it's still so hilarious. Like her still being that character, it's just so funny.
Yeah. I
And
loved
like
Goldilocks. I thought she was great.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
hope
I
it's
think
too. I actually hope she's still in that.
yeah, I hope she didn't go back into the fairy tale book, because with what
Yeah,
happens later on with that, let's not
true.
do that, because I love Goldilocks too much now. She's like A plus character. So let's see. So yeah, so there was like the whole thing. I love the finale, just like Noonan and all those guys just mowing down fucking like Lex Luthor guards and all these villains, and then
Yeah.
poor Toyman getting turned into a rat. Not the same rat that Jared Leto sent his cast members, but
Or
other
was it?
different rats. Let's hope different ones. But yeah. But you got all these fan favorite characters showing up again. You got Ocean Master and Cheetah and Black Manta,
And then Martian
and
Manhunter at the
and then
end.
fucking Martian Man. I was
Oh,
like, I was wondering what the stuff with Gus was gonna pay off. I'm like, why does he not remember? Is it
yeah.
like, did he like get his head hit or something? But no, he just straight up nope. It's just I was like, I literally said out loud, I was like, oh shit, Martian Manhunter, and he looks great here. Like he looks fucking
Yeah, he's
awesome.
really good at animation.
But yeah, I'm really curious because they do set up two major things. So you have
Yeah.
Rebecca who comes back to, who lives through the 80s once again, even though she looks the same now. Um, so you have her joining like the choir of Darkseid. It's like Darkseid choir looking for new applicants. It's like, all right, like again, this show is so ridiculous. And
Yeah.
then you have her, taking the anti-life equation, getting into the fairy tale book, and then Martian
Yeah.
Manhunter takes it away. Hopefully, keep it far away from Earth, so anti-life equation doesn't affect people. But that doesn't matter. And they're like, "Oh yeah, Golden Glider, your mom saved you because she totally loves you." We know
I
that's
know,
not
which
the
we all
case.
know. We all know. We're like,
And so now she has her taking over Fairy Tale Land. All of the people get turned into zombies with the anti-life equation, so they're setting that up for season 2. Probably like more of a B plot, if I were to guess, because that seems like in the back because you're gonna need it. They're gonna need to go back to Earth, need to get out of the fairy tale book, and like all that. So I feel like that's gonna be a B plot. Now the A plot, they actually tease Brainiac in this. So I was like, that
yeah,
was the skull ship at the end. If people don't know, that was Brainiac. So I hope that we get something awesome with season 2. Now,
we
we
will.
will try to be realistic here. Do you think the show will actually get a season 2, or would this will forever be a big cliffhanger that will never be resolved?
I mean, if it is, I will cry every day until they make a season 2. I will write my letters to Congress because they need to continue this series. It is so good, and I do feel like at the end with the choir saying end of season 1, and this whole like setup, it's hard to believe. I mean, I know anything's possible, of course, and with the way that things get canceled, it's very possible it might not, but I'm really hoping that they are already like starting plans for the next season. I
I
really
do
hope.
hope so as well. I mean, this was just so fun. Also, hello, Antonio. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. We appreciate all your comments. I know I've been crack-a-lacking with the comments. I apologize. Um,
Uh,
but as
Kite-Man,
speaking of cancellations, Josh had a good little intake with that. David Zaslav loves canceling good things, so maybe it will be canceled. Yeah, that is true. He hates animation and he hates good things, so this will probably be canceled if I were
great.
to guess. How Harley Quinn hasn't been canceled for 5 seasons is after 5 seasons is
I'm like, if
ridiculous.
that show can get 5, this one can get 2 at least. Like, please, come on.
Yeah, just 2 seasons. I don't know because sometimes animated shows at this point do get 2 seasons from the get go.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
think,
That's what I'm
I mean,
thinking.
that's what happened
It's
with
like,
Batman Cape Crusader. That's what happened with Velma.
yeah, just to
So
like give it like
maybe
a little bit more. I that's
that's
what I think. I'm
that's
like,
what we
I feel like they're gonna give it a good chance, a good shot, and to do that, you do need at least 2 seasons,
yeah,
really.
we'll see with the viewership. It has like again Rotten Tomatoes. I know, Rotten Tomatoes is like the fucking I don't like Rotten Tomatoes, but sometimes people do see that. And so they'll be like, "Okay, let's pay attention to this." And it has
100%.
been getting good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So, and it's like pretty decent review like and both critics
Audience?
and audiences do love the show. Like 92, same as
Yeah.
the Penguin, by the way, and an 89%. So maybe that means something to somebody out there. The executive, we don't want Harley Quinn on the screen.
I know we didn't care about
But
Rotten Tomatoes before, but right now, I stand by what they say. I do.
yeah, I don't. But like, if people do, that's fine with me. I don't. That's totally cool with
It's
me.
a
I
good
don't mind
show,
that.
like, oh my gosh, I really like, I haven't watched something that I've really enjoyed like this in so long, so I just I wanna see more, I really do.
Yeah, I think. I hope that they can the WB can fucking get their heads out of their asses and like give us something like actually great. But with this, with Harley Quinn season 5 coming out, and Harley Quinn having a similar vibe to this, do you plan on watching that to like scratch that Kite Man itch? Or are you just like, nah, I'm just gonna stick with Kite Man for now?
Mm, I think honestly, I would probably just stick with Kite Man because I only watched a little bit of the Harley Quinn series, and I personally just don't. I they're similar, but I still feel like they are definitely different in vibes. And I don't know. I really like this subtle shift in this one a lot more than I like the Harley Quinn series. This one
Mm.
just seems like I don't know, just a little bit more like lighthearted in a way. And like Kite Man is just such a lovable character. He's not cynical. He's not. I don't. I don't see. I don't think anyone could. I at least don't find him annoying, and I feel like it'd be. I don't know. He's just so like
He perfectly gets
he's
like the
so
line between
perfect.
lovable and annoying, and
He's
it
just
like
like
fits
perfect,
perfectly.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
seeing
like
Section 8 in Kite Man, I will say that was Six Pack was the character. Maybe we could see Dog Welder in season 2. If we get a season 2, hashtag get Dog Welder in the show. And by the way, for the people that don't know, that is an actual supervillain. And yes, his superpower is just welding dogs to people's faces. That's it. That's the character. It actually exists. It's canonical. You
it
can
would
even
go
look.
really well with this show, though. I
It
mean,
would, and it would be fucking I honestly even then, I would like to see Hitman as well. I know he's, like, more of, like, a serious character, but
uh-huh.
Noonan's and, like, the character and the bar, as well as Six Pack are seen in, like, the Hitman series, and
Yeah,
Hitman is, like, kinda this smaller, lesser known character, so it'd be cool to, like, kinda see him as a good old Tommy Monahan,
yeah,
get him a cameo because I mean, it makes sense they're using, like, the setting that was, like, important for his
right.
series. So I hope that
Yeah,
they
you definitely
use them at
could.
some point. That would be really fun, even just for a cameo.
Yeah, but
Um,
it does look so I love it because it's just such a surprise each episode, like, who pops up, and it's really fun to see what they've done. But, yeah, I don't think I I would I just I'm not a huge Harley Quinn animated series fan personally, so I
yeah. I mean, neither am I. I hate the character with every fiber of my being, so there is that as well.
yeah. It's just, I mean, as they said, to quote Kite Man, as Golden Glider said in the finale, there's just something about a man and a kite.
Yeah, there really is something about that beautiful, beautiful man in a kite.
Mhm.
Also, we wanted to thank you for your live comments. I'm sorry I couldn't get to as many, but there was kind of some diverging in the topic, so I couldn't get to all of them. But we do have official fan comments that we like to, for the people that unfortunately couldn't get, yeah, can't talk today, who couldn't catch us live. We still like to spotlight you guys because even if you can't catch us live, that's totally cool. And we want to show our appreciation
I love
to
you.
any kind of viewer, live or non-live. So with that, we got some comments on our last episode, which was about Green Lantern, the Green Lantern shortlist. And this was from Temple 277, and they said, I actually hope we get Ewan as Hal, which is what we were talking about yesterday. If they're doing Emerald Twilight, which I hope not, but Hal's age tells us there probably are. I agree. It's kind of a reverse role to his Obi-Wan. Well, yes, he is going to be a mentor in this show, just like he was on Obi-Wan. Hal is known as Sinestro's greatest apprentice. So you could have that switch with Ewan if we're going to have scenes with his Hal and someone else's Sinestro if Thal even shows up in the show. So this time he'd be kind of like what Anakin was to Ahsoka, but as Hal to Jon Stewart. But whatever happens, I hope they do it right and that the show's great. But thank you, someone who agrees with me about Tom King. By the way, um, I am worried that Tom King writing it may mean Hal saying shit like, let's be honest, right? I don't even know what the hell will is, do you? Which is just complete character assassination, and combined with Tom King with Hal as Parallax, oh boy, we might not see Hal for another 2 decades in anything but comics if that happens. But let's hope for the best, I suppose. I hope for the best. I'm not expecting the best because, again, I will go for on and on about how much I hate Tom King, too much of Jay Kelly's chagrin. But, we are getting some, it is kind of funny that you were talking about, Obi-Wan. Do you kind of see that as well with this? Like, Ewan McGregor as Hal Jordan, like we're gonna kind of get a Obi-Wan Kenobi training Anakin vibes, or you're like, no, this is gonna be way different, way separate?
I me, I think
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what you think about this. I know you don't really know much about Green Lantern
yeah,
stuff, but
I do know a ton of Star Wars. I do feel like, yeah, that's like a good analogy, I guess, a good parallel to kind of imagine what that relationship could be like.
yeah, I think I mean it is kind of very apropos because I'm not going to show too much of this cuz we don't want to get I don't know if this is copyrighted or not, but we did get, Ewan did get his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So that was pretty awesome. So it's kind of funny how we did have somebody talking specifically about Ewan McGregor and how they're going to do that with Star Wars. And Hayden Christensen said a lot of nice words, and he's like, "I love you, brother." And it was a really great moment. Ewan McGregor, he deserves it. Whether he is or isn't Hal, he will always be a great actor. Not a great Black Mask, so he does need some DC redemption. Not gonna lie, but
Hmm.
no matter what they do, I think it will be. And no matter who they get, I think it'll be like Ewan is the least for me personally, but I still think no matter what they do, he'll be great.
It's
Like
gonna
I
be good.
do genuinely believe Hal will be fantastic. So, but yeah, Temple, that was a very good examination, and I agree, heavily agree with you on Tom King. So,
He really appreciates the validation in that.
I do very much so. But then we're gonna get into our the
Ah,
Watcher, who is a regular for us. They said I said it once and I'll say it again. Give me Pine as Hal. Let's go. I kind of agree.
okay.
I mean, he's my second favorite now. He was my favorite for a while, next to John Krasinski, but Timothy Oliphant, once that was on the short list, I'm like, how the fuck could I forget about Timothy Oliphant? That man was born to play Hal Jordan. Same with Chris Pine, but who knows if he wants to stay away from comic book stuff. So we're unsure about Chris Pine, but we'll see. I'll take Garth Ennis any day. Garth Ennis, like, yeah, he's hit and miss, but like, I'll still like again, I'll still take that over Tom King. I mean, I read a little bit of Hitman. It's great. I read a little bit of The Boys. It's insane. I'm not a huge fan, but I think I read a little bit of his Punisher run. I read his Peacemaker one shot a couple months back, and I think Garth Ennis gets a lot of hate for the right reasons, but sometimes he can do some good stuff. Tom King, I've only read one thing that's good, and I think that was a fluke, but that's just me. But yeah, I heavily agree that Chris Pine would make a great Hal Jordan. What do you think about the short list? I'm curious. Timothy Oliphant, Chris Pine, and Ewan McGregor. Who do you think would be the best Hal Jordan out of those three, for what you know about the character?
Um, I mean, I do feel like Chris Pine is definitely like, I don't know. I feel like he's a great look for the character as well. I feel like I agree. It's like, well, how could you say no to Chris Pine being Hal? Um, I have to look at the other actors. So Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah, he was Timothy Oliphant. He was in Justified. He was in Santa Clarita Diet. He was in Book of Boba Fett.
I think if I see
Um,
his face, I'll recognize.
yeah, he has a
Uh,
very recognizable face. Yeah,
yeah, he
he was
actually
in
he's like a
Scream
very.
too.
I feel like he has like the exact same actual like hair as Chris Pine, like the same like.
Yeah, kind of the floop thing. I don't know what you call that. Very well coiffed. But
I actually think they could
yeah,
literally be related,
yeah,
but
maybe that
yeah,
works.
I can see both. I mean, I feel like maybe that's why too. They're
Definitely. But Hitman
yeah,
show, that would be awesome. I don't think it would ever happen, but that would be awesome.
yes,
I know I would still want Joe Manganiello to play Deathstroke, but he would be a good Tommy Monahan. I think so. That would be awesome. Maybe Sam Rockwell could be good. Maybe not like someone who could do like heavy comedy stuff, but Sam Rockwell could be good. Joe Manganiello could be good, depending on how you work the character.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think that would be pretty awesome. But that leaves us, at the end, guys. Life things aren't beautiful because they last, right? So, uh, Penguin coming out in exactly 1 week. premiering on HBO at 9 o'clock and on Max. So that's exciting. Unfortunately, as I said, they don't think great things don't always last. And Kite-Man, unfortunately, season 1 is over. But even though we spoiled a bunch of stuff for you today, it was still a great show. Almost everything hit this episode. Almost
Yeah.
everything hit this season.
You were
Go
perfect.
watch it on Max. Show that we want a season 2. Go watch it. Go rewatch it. Watch it for a third time. Show
Yes.
the Warner Brothers that we want a season 2 because it's a
Shout
great show and it
the
deserves
roof.
it.
Tell all your friends. Just spread the good news that Kite-Man season 1 is here. All the episodes. Go watch it.
Yeah. And people were also commenting, speaking of, although wanted to track back with the Penguin, a lot of people will be watching the Penguin. 12 votes for our live poll, and 75% said yes. So 75%, that would be like, I don't know, like a little bit of 6, that would be 8 votes, I think. So yeah, people will be catching the Penguin. So you know what, guys, make that 75% 100 because it looks great. If you care about Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a good Rotten Tomatoes score. It's got a lot of great reviews from,
Yeah.
people you trust, like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, all that stuff. So I'm excited for it for, again, exactly 1 week. Guys, go watch it. Go
And
watch
if you're like,
Kite-Man.
yes,
Watch
if, like,
everything.
once you're done with Kite-Man and you just need something else, Penguin is the
Boom.
answer.
You can watch over the course of the next week, binge watch Kite-Man, and then boom, right in time, get ready for the Penguin, the next chapter in Matt Reeves's epic crime saga, Batman epic crime saga.
Yes.
But with all that done and said, please feel free to dislike if you disliked us. If you love Tom King and you hate my takes, then by all means
Leave in the comments.
dislike.
Let us know.
But subscribe,
Good job,
comment.
guys.
Even though you couldn't catch us live, that's okay. Maybe you could be featured on the show next time. So, and if you are subscribed, click the bell. I know we have weird times for our live shows. So just so you know, when we go live, hit the bell. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Come on. What do you think this is? You think we do this shit just for free? Come on, subscribe. Subscribe. It's not going to take up too much space.
We don't know unless you subscribe.
Come on, guys. But yeah, also I want to thank, everyone. JB quickly said Kite-Man better get a season 2. Thank you, JB. But Josh, Manolo Rivera, Antonio Baker, Caleb Richardson.
It, guys. Let's manifest.
You guys are all great. Hunter Iggy, you said what's up? What's up, Hunter Iggy? We love seeing your comments. And Dan, you showed up. We don't appreciate you, but you did show up. So I guess we got to recognize that, right? But thank you guys for showing up. I don't want to see you guys go. That's why that's why this is taking so long. But we'll see you next time. Tomorrow we'll maybe hopefully do another Fantastic Friday. So, we'll see how that is. But until then, we'll see you all later. Who knows? Kite-Man. Hell yeah.